All right.
Been
Hang on.
a minute.
Welcome to the Family Pulpit Podcast. We are up to episode 17, maybe.
I'm trying to do the tape thing.
Like action?
Yeah, like
and action.
Action.
Boop. Okay. Boop. Episode 17. And what are we going to talk about today? It's going to be a term that you didn't like. You were just talking to me a few minutes ago and you said, you know what? I don't like it.
So, I don't like that it says family in it. And I feel like the title of ours, since it's called Family Pulpit, I've just been rolling with it. But I don't like that I don't know. Maybe just the pulpit. Maybe just the pulpit.
This makes me feel so good. He's anti-family.
What? No,
Anti-family pulpit, he just wants to be pulpit. Anti-family economy, the subject for today's podcast, he just wants to be economy. Oh, what great timing.
Okay, one thing. So
once I get done here with today's podcast, you're going to understand the primacy of the family. And then you're going to want to change your middle name to family.
Stop speaking French.
Primacy is French? You're going to want to change your name. You're going to say, you know what? Don't even call me Ezra anymore. You just call me Fam. And I'm like, all right, Fam.
Call me Fab.
Not Fab.
Hey, Fab.
Fam. Your love of the family game is going to increase.
What?
Yep. It has been a minute though.
So, first thing, so I know the one person will have listened this far. There's at least one person. So to that person,
us,
hello.
Me.
No, to that person, hello. Tell me if I should activate my Xbox Game Pass now or later. Just say it. I don't really care if you do or not, but please do. It's literally not going to affect me in any way, whatever you say. So even if you cuss me out or something, I don't care. So just drop something.
I'm glad you got that out of the way because you have that Game Pass sitting there on the desk, and I thought you've already asked me about it 10 times, and I was waiting for when it was going to be mentioned on the podcast. So I'm glad you got it out of the way in the first 2 minutes. It's great.
I think I'm going to activate it later today. If I'm allowed to play later, then I shall do it.
Hey, shout out to the people listening in Brazil.
People listening in Brazil.
And India and Japan. Stop. They don't want to hear that.
You wanted me to shout out to them.
I'm just doing a shout out just right now.
That's the shout out. I wonder if they can hear me.
I don't know if they like that or not, though.
They don't even know what any of this means.
They do, too. They are listening.
Bro,
I have evidence.
You know the people in Russia, there's just people holding a gun to their face. Listen to the American content or you die.
That's not a Russian accent.
I know.
What?
Listen to the American content or you die.
What is wrong with you right now?
Lots of things, sir.
There are free people throughout this whole entire world. They can listen to what they want. And guess what?
What?
There's such a thing as called an interpreter.
What?
They can simply run this through Google or through YouTube, and they can hear us in their native language. Which, good luck translating some of the things this kid says.
That is false.
All right, enough from you. Okay. Let's get on task. Today we're going to talk about the family economy. You don't like the family word? Guess what? Too bad. I'm going to explain to you what this is, okay? So let's go back and let's talk about what you asked me beforehand and what my response was. Like, wait, a family economy, how does this fit into anything that we've been talking about in our last 16 episodes? I'm glad you asked.
We've only had 16 podcasts?
I know, 16.
That doesn't even feel like that much. I feel like we've had 30.
If you would want to do these more, if we would set aside a set time, I think, to record. Okay. Rather than let me finish my thought.
I'm making an amendment. This is the first amendment of the Constitution of the pulpit. The pulpit Constitution, First Amendment. We are going to do a podcast every single week.
Okay.
It's happening.
I'm on board. By the way.
And you know what? I'll like the podcast more and more as we go. Also, my headphones aren't really working. Whatever, I don't care.
It's okay. Mine aren't working either. They were. It has to, I don't know what's
I don't really care. I've never been a big fan of headphones because they're always jacked. Jacked.
I get, boom. I get what you did there. The reason why you have headphones is because, like I explained earlier, you've got to be able to hear what the people hear. You don't want to have the audio drop out. You don't want to be too loud. Yeah. You have a tendency to lean back from the microphone, and then it doesn't pick you up very well. That's why I'm always pounding you on the back and saying, get up closer.
You'd think I'd be like, hello, guys.
I could actually hear in that. For some reason, it's not picking up very well, but I'm not worried about it.
Okay,
anyways,
I just got to mention one thing. We got back from the beach a couple weeks ago.
Show.
And it was.
We don't need to give all of our personal details and history.
That's not personal whatsoever.
Okay.
Like, I could just walk up to a stranger on the street and be like, hey, we went to the beach, and it would reveal nothing.
All right. Thank you for that. Yes, lots of people go to the beach this time of year. Okay. Well, hopefully we can go again in the fall, maybe. I don't know.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Let me.
Okay, go.
This is going to be.
You did that. That was your fault.
It was my
for
fault.
Bringing that up. Just roll with it. Just go. On the podcast. We're gonna cut. We're gonna cut. Action.
This is going to be a really, really long podcast.
No, it's not.
You can't let me take the reins.
That was just the intro. I always do long intros. Now go. 3, 2, 1 minute. Wait till it gets to 5:30 and then we'll start right there. Boop.
Awkward silence.
Boop. All right, go.
Once again. So what?
There's no once again.
Bro, interrupt me one more time and this is going to be a solo show. And you are going to be so low, you won't be able to crawl back out again, clowny. Okay, listen. No, for real. Let me recap for what you asked me because it was a great question.
Go.
Shout out to those people listening in India if I didn't shout them out. Brazil. We had a couple top. Shout out to those in Alabama. Now listen. I'm going to seriously pull us back on track. Okay, all jokes aside. All kidding aside.
6:15. Wait, 3, 2.
We don't have to be in an exact second. Please stop with that. That's going to be really...
We're going to have to wait till the next 15-second interval.
I'm just trying to sit here and think in my mind. I'm like, how much of this I'm going to edit out? We're 6 minutes in and we've talked about nothing. We're the Seinfeld of podcasts.
1, go. Okay, it actually starts now.
Before we started the show, you asked me the relativeness, how this was relative to anything that we've talked about before. And what I mentioned was when we went back and we talked about creation, otherwise known as Origins. That was the title that we gave episode 1. And then we saw how that led us into the Imago Dei, or being created in the image of God. Then from there, we saw how that naturally led into work worship, the concept of what it is that we are to do. So we answered the age-old questions, the age-old Western philosophical questions that have been in existence since Western civilization began, right?
Which is creation.
How did I get here? Who am I? And what is it that I'm supposed to do? Or where am I going?
Also,
those three philosophical questions we answered in the first 3 episodes.
Yes.
I'd never heard of those questions before.
Yes.
Didn't know that they were the prime questions throughout all humanity had been trying to wrestle with.
No.
But we answered them.
Yes.
This was the background for AI. We had to go back to creation and see who created us, how did he make us, and what did he make us to do in order to get the undergirding for answering AI. Here comes AI. They're promising to take jobs. They're promising to outsmart humans. They're promising to inject via the transhumanist movement AI or electronic chips or something else into our brains to make us more than human. Okay? Right? So we talked about that in like an episode 5 or 6 time frame. Then that led us into 4 main movements, historical movements that disrupted creation, Imago Dei, and specifically work. That concept of work that was ingrained in the family. Okay? You understand that? We looked at that in chapters 2 and 3. The woman was supposed to be the help of man, and then the children were supposed to be... We looked at the history of work in like episodes 3 and 4, something like that. We walked all the way back to the Old Testament. We moved forward to the New Testament. We went all the way up in history, and we saw how this work had changed over time. And we saw why. What were the 4 main movements? And what were those 4 main movements that disrupted work?
We got number 1, feminism. Number 2, Plato. Number 3, Industrial Revolution. Number 4, compulsory education, in no particular order.
And if we were going to do in particular order, it would be Plato, Industrial Revolution, government-run compulsory education, and feminism, which was a large one. And there's a lot of things that fall under that umbrella of feminism. A lot.
I think that, I know feminism started relatively early, but I think modern feminism was actually pre-compulsory education.
Yeah, we went to 1700s.
Actually, I think I meant to say compulsory education has not been around nearly as long as feminism.
That's true.
So it's actually more recent than
That's true. And actually feminism and compulsory education, they both kind of have their birth in the Industrial Revolution.
True compulsory education has really only been around for like 75 years. Like true.
75,
Pre-1950 wouldn't even be that bad.
No. You're talking late 1800s. Remember,
I don't think
what was the show? Hang on. We went over this anyway, but yes, 1880s for Massachusetts. That's where the National Guard came in. But listen for a second. what was the show that we used to watch? It's in Canada, and it showed how they had to march the kids who were at home. They basically forced them into school. What's the show? Where Jack is a Mountie. When Calls the Heart. Thank you for your help.
One of the greatest shows of all time.
So that kind of captures that moment where they're kind of forced into a compulsory education. Okay, so back to the original question, what does this have to do with anything we're talking about? It has everything to do with it. The family economy, and I'll define that in just a second. And you can call it household economy. You can call it the Greek word oikonomos if you feel so compelled to do so. But what it does is it serves as the pivot point, or the fulcrum, we might say, or the bridge that looks to the past and also prepares us for the future. So right now in the present, hopefully on this podcast, we're going to go through what this means, and we're going to see how it actually connects us to our past, pre-industrial revolution, and it prepares us for the fourth industrial revolution, the rising AI, the rising humanoids, Optimus, all of the robots taking over of jobs. It prepares us for that.
I think we go right here and we call this video the end of Family Pulpit Season 1.
Random. I did tell you that it could be the end of Season 1, but I'll tell you what this does do. It takes us back to the future.
Back to the future.
I know you like that.
Pretty good movie.
So, here we go. Let's see.
Do you want some tetanus? I have an instant tetanus right here.
No, I don't want tetanus.
Look,
Thank you.
Look, instant
tetanus. I saw the nail. Let's put it where no one steps on it. So if we're going to define the family economy, okay, I'm going to give a few resources that will help with this as we go along too, but one of which, maybe the introduction for me into this subject, was via Rory Groves, R-O-R-Y, Groves. And in his book, Durable Trades, there's one book reference. And the second book that he came out with was actually called Family Economy. Very short, very kind of to the point. And it has like a little worksheet in the back to help you work through setting up your own family economy. Remember when you read that book, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, sir.
What were your thoughts on it then?
Oh, wait. No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you did. The official title is The Family Economy, Discovering the Family as it Was Designed to Work. Afterword by Alan C. Carlson. He is emerging as one of my favorite authors.
So let me say something real quick. It's unrelated, but I want to get it off my chest, so I won't talk for a little bit. I think after this podcast, I'm gonna work on getting Xbox set up on my PC. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you for telling the world that in this moment in time.
It was the most valuable thing I had to say.
Really?
Also, God loves you.
Okay. Good recovery, I think, maybe. All right. Anyway, so in Rory Groves' book, it's a very, very, very short book, but it's got a little worksheet to help you think through how to set up your family economy by doing a family gifts inventory. What are you skilled to do? What's dad skilled to do? Mom, and so on and so forth. But in that book, he defines the family economy as when a family works together to provide the things they need. That's pretty basic. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, look how it's a basic definition.
Yeah, that's what I knew it was. That's what I knew it was.
He also writes, a family economy is concerned with relationships over possessions. What do you think about that?
Relationships? Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking around right now in this room.
We did have a discussion. Wait, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at a lot of possessions, and I'm thinking about how the family economy is structured because
I don't use any of this stuff.
It's not really built around gaining money. And then it's not really built around, let's rephrase. It's not built around a consumer mentality. It's built around a production mentality.
I actually do produce.
So you've heard me talk about that a lot with you and Isabella, about how we want to be more productive. We want to be more productive with our time. We want to be more productive, and have outputs, because we're trying to fight against the consumer mentality that tells us to sit down and consume media. It wants us to consume food, junk foods. It wants us to buy. Everything surrounding us right here in this room is designed obsolescence, right? Like this monitor is designed to fail. It will not last. It won't last as long as a box set TV did from the 1950s, right? That'll last for 30 years.
I want one of those. Like, I'm not kidding. I want a TV set, like an OG. And I wouldn't even be so appalled for it to replace ours.
So,
although I do want to finish some anime.
That's two book references there. I don't have Durable Traits in front of me, but the
I
Family
can go grab
Economy.
it if you want, but I'll probably
It's
get
cool.
distracted.
Grab Durable Traits. It's a great introduction to see how the Industrial Revolution kind of disrupted the workflow. And Rory Groves goes through and he identifies, I think, 60 trades that have stood the test of time, regardless of financial circumstances that are going on in the world.
They've lasted even longer than box set TVs.
Way longer than box set TVs. Great
I don't
great
know
job
about
pointing
that.
that out.
Maybe just a couple hundred.
The basis for, now check this out. Do you like to hear languages? The basis for the name family economy is found in the Greek word oikonomia. Oikos meaning house and nomos meaning law.
So you were asking if I like words. Yes, I love words. I love the Latin roots of words, and I love constructing words from scratch. Like I just made quintfecta up while we were at the beach, using quint as a prefix for 5, and fecta as a suffix for materials or consisting of.
So here, same type of principle, oikos and nomia, they combine together to mean household management or household law. In classical Greek, oikonomia refers to the management, administration, or stewardship of household estate. Side note here, that word oikonomia can also be translated, I think probably in the King James, as dispensation. So that's going to take us down. We're not going to talk about dispensationalism here today.
Season 2, kickoff.
But you can see that and how a lot of people took that word. It means nothing but an administration of time or a period of time. Okay, that's what dispensation would mean there. You got any thoughts on this background? You're not going to check out on me, are you?
No, I'm not.
Because you're
Unless
thinking
I'm checking out at
Xbox and
Walmart.
Game Pass.
I'm not really thinking about that right now.
Let's move on then. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to give us some definitions. I don't really have a script like before, but I've got some quotes, and I want us to interact on this subject because if the family economy can't be anything, if it's just me, I can't be a family economy by myself.
No.
And I actually can't be a family economy with a wife.
No.
I have to have a true family. I have to have, it has to be a wife with children. Okay. And they don't necessarily have to be natural children either. If you've adopted kids, you can see how Alan Carlson in his book, The Natural Family, another book I'm referencing here, referring to, he speaks the same way of adoption as being able to fulfill some of these roles. So
can we take a second to do the family economy thing, like me, like say a project I'm working on, and then you say one you're working on? Because I really want to display my boat.
You want to talk about your boat?
Yeah, and then what? Do you have a project?
Let me ask you this: how does your boat? How would it help the family economy? How does it lend itself for that? We haven't even really moved into what the family economy is, other than giving it definitions of, and kind of the background for the word.
I don't know. Like you guys could be crew members.
I'm going to be Gilligan?
Yeah.
On your boat?
Uh-huh.
The SS Family?
I don't know. I'm thinking about calling it the
HMS?
What?
The HMS?
What's that stand for?
You forgot.
What's that stand for?
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, I didn't forget.
Go back and listen to episode 1, Charles Darwin.
The HMS Bagel.
The HMS
it's called the
Bagel.
HMS Bagel.
How in the world did you even hesitate to forget with that memory that you supposedly have?
Want me to recount
Awkward
all the
silence
lyrics of
while I
every
get a
song
drink.
that I've ever heard?
Please don't.
Because there's hundreds
Do you
of
want me
millions
to?
of words.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Oh.
Interestingly enough, let's go off of the family economy, or what he calls the household economy.
So much for talking about my boat. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, good. It may come up more naturally later. You have an idea, a concept for a massive boat that takes 16 3,600 horsepower engines.
3,500.
Excuse me. 3,500, 16.
Or spared 1,600 horsepower.
3,500 horsepower engines this boat takes.
Yes, and it's going to weigh 11,000 tons.
11,000 tons.
For context, 22 million pounds.
22 million pounds. You know what makes me laugh is that you wanted to go to Harbor Freight and buy the welder and start building at the farm, and I'm like, bro, how are you going to transport this boat to the water?
That's what the pond's for, bro.
That's what?
That's what the pond's for, bro. That'll work.
Someone I work with said, baby, that you were anticipating a flood like Noah.
You told him about it?
Yeah, she thought it was hilarious.
Okay, 5-minute laugh session.
Okay, that's now? Okay. It's okay.
Huh.
That needs to be its own video short. Is when we laugh.
Yeah, it's gonna be like ha ha.
I've got another author to give us a definition, and
his
I'm gonna.
name is C.R. Wiley.
So in
wait, that's a theme. That's a new theme.
Well, wait, it isn't. I don't know that they like that on the sound. I don't know.
Xenophone.
Of the family economy, or what he calls the household economy. There, if you don't like family, how about household? C.R. Wiley writes, the household economy is based on giving. It's emotionally rich and densely meaningful because it's an economy of love.
Yes.
The closest thing we have to it is the economy of God. Mm-hmm. He also writes, the household is the first institution and the most important. From it grows every other institution and proceeds in what is commonly called the economy grows. So I'm reading in Alan Carlson's book, Natural Family, and he's put together an argument using a lot of secular writers, sociologists, etc., who explain that the foundational basis for an economy, you're studying economy a little bit, economics a little bit, maybe?
Not at the current moment, but I do have a stack of books over there, including personal finance, budgeting, economics, another personal finance book, The Housing Boom and Bust by famous author is Christian, penny stocks, and fundamental analysis, which I'd like to read so I can become a financial advisor part-time.
So in Carlson's book, he is setting forth the basis that the foundation for that economy, which is about money that you're talking about, and the foundation for society in general is not the individual. It's the family. The family is the basic unit. We've been instructed in a post-Enlightenment setting, especially under the influence of Hobbes and Locke. We talked about John Locke the other day, right?
Yes.
Especially under their influence, that the individual is the basis for society. It's the base element, and that's not true. That's a rugged individualism that has caused or is causing presently the collapse of society. This is why birth rates are plummeting. This is why marriage is delayed. This is why no-fault divorce gets accelerated. Abortion gets promoted.
A week or two ago, on my computer, so even when you're offline, somehow Microsoft manages to sneak stuff on the cover of your screen that are related to the day. It's built into your calendar. So, like, it'll say, today, the first birth control pill was
Right, we talked
by the FDA.
FDA approved by the FDA.
Yeah, and that happened like a couple weeks ago. It said this week in history.
Yeah, we talked about that on our episode on feminism too.
Yep,
remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, we sure did. So
that was a big topic.
The concept.
One of our later episodes. Also, my earphones are muffled. Like when I talk
that's
back
okay.
here, and when I talk up
then
here,
lean
there's
up.
no difference.
Lean up then if you need to, because when you talk back, they can't hear you.
All right.
My headphones aren't really working either. We'll get it fixed before next time.
All right,
we need to get 2 new pair, I think.
I think we do. These gaming headphones are mostly for gaming, and they're not insane.
Yeah, mine are for
I don't like
keyboard.
I don't like the dual that I think that messes.
It's confusing. The dual jack on there is confusing as well. So
I don't even think I can use our splitter. I think I have to use its splitter, and I don't even know where it is.
That's true. Yeah, there's not enough connections. The concept for the family economy or the household economy, it's not something that's new. It actually, I think when we went back and we looked at creation, Imago Dei, and work worship, you can see how the family economy was God's institution. The family was God's idea. And so the family economy is simply the family working together. We'll look at that in just a minute and what that looks like. But in Greek society, responding to your boy Socrates, on what the work of a household management is, Xenophon answers, it seems at any rate that it is the part of a good household manager to manage his own household well. In doing so, in this book, his response, the Oxford edition of this book provides the following footnote on that. The oikonomikos, which just simply means skilled household manager, not merely the household manager. So there is someone who's
the household manager could be a guy who lives in his mom's basement, technically, but the
No, I don't think so.
The oikonomos could be that, but the oikonomikos would be like you.
I see what you're trying to get at there. I know what you're trying to do there. Allow a pass for that guy that sits in his mom's basement.
I don't really care for the guy that sits in his mom's
basement. The oikonomikos better
though.
grab that. Okay, that's okay. I just rescued what I was going to say. The oikonomikos better grab that dude in the basement and get him out of there and say, bro, you better stop consuming. Be productive.
Hey, I'm technically productive. I'm learning a lot by building this engine. I didn't even know. Did you know that 1 horsepower is needed for every 35 pounds of load?
Did not know that. That explains why you need 16 times 3,500.
Yeah. Also, I'm starving, so after this podcast, get a snack.
I already fed you a chicken quarter.
You didn't feed me. That was like 2 hours ago.
I grilled it for you.
I don't even care that I played video
Fresh.
games for 3 hours this morning. I'm still going to play Halo.
Fresh farm-raised chicken.
Nice.
Raised by us. Processed by us.
So,
cooked by us.
Guys, if you have seen the meme with the old guy who makes a click noise and they says noise. Like, I can make that click noise really well, so like in case you want to know, just come over to the farm and I'll do it for you. And maybe we can play video games together.
Yes, especially for those that are in Brazil, India, and Japan. Please travel all that distance to come to the farm to hear the sound that goes along with the GIF. You're not going to do it right there? Nice. Okay, there it was. Right on cue. All right, so let's get a little bit of undergirding for this family economy. So what's a family?
A family is a collection of 3 or more people to create almost an institution-like thing, except they are bound by love instead of work.
I don't dislike that at all. So
That
I would
was
say
just, I didn't even think about that. I was just trying to sound smart, and I didn't even think I was going to sound smart.
I've warned you about trying to sound smart.
No, I just try to sound smart here. In real life, I'm just like, oh, I'm stupid. So
no, I know that's not true. In real life, you do try to sound smart.
When people make me mad, then I sound smart. But
I know, don't do that. You know what happens if people make you mad and you try to sound smart as a response? You know what that actually is?
What?
That's the true definition of a smart aleck. Whatever the word aleck means. Yeah, smart aleck.
I thought it was Alec.
Smart
it was Alec and then it was Alec.
Why is Alec getting blamed?
Like, what's Alec? What did Alec ever do? He was just sitting in his mom's basement playing some video games. That was a Bellatrix laugh.
No.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So,
bro, that's a meme now. No. Yes. Okay.
So when we're trying to get an understanding of the family economy, we have to start with the family. And the family isn't just a father and a mother. Okay. So the family is the father, the mother, and the children.
Yes.
The best person that I've come across to explain this concept within what he calls a Christian economy is William Perkins. He's a Puritan, William Perkins.
That's my pen name.
His works were published by Reformation Heritage Books. I've got almost all of them. I'm missing 2, but I think it's volume 10 where he goes over the Christian economy. It happens to be the same volume where he talks about vocation and calling. So
this is a good time while we're talking about books to mention our sponsor, McKay's.
Okay, thank you.
McKay's offers used books and other things at an affordable price of generally less than $15 for good books in great conditions. Drop by today.
Thank you.
That was our sponsor session.
Okay, in Perkins, he says, if the husband is the head, then the wife is the heart. I'm so sorry. This is not Perkins. If the husband is the head, then the wife is the heart of the family. That's from Bavinck, by the way. When I lean away for the awkward pause, that's your time to take control. But it's too late. Herman Bavinck is another one that I want to recommend for this, and he writes in the book The Christian Family. It's translated by Nelson Klusterman.
Wait, he's not from Human? Or from Human. He's not American?
Bavinck is Dutch.
Whoa.
This is an excellent book, by the way.
On the Sonic Blu-ray disc.
Thank you. This is an excellent book. He has a lot to say about the family, and he's going to pull together, he may not say explicitly family economy or household economy, but he's definitely going to give you the concepts of that.
Yes. I
really like that book. So we've got as the basis a family, a mother, a father, and children. And we've already gone over how this goes back to creation. So we don't need to rehearse this again. We can simply refer back to origins and then Imago Dei and then work worship.
Yeah,
we can see this.
Go check all of our 16 podcasts. Or 15.
At least those first 3 is what I'm trying to get at.
10.
Huh?
The other 12.
Well, for the basis of this, I'm trying to get at the first 3. You don't have to go necessarily through the history of how the family economy was destroyed, but on the backside of this, we're now explaining and trying to put it back together, right? So if you were going to walk chronologically, we started at creation, we came through Imago Dei, work worship, we saw how the destruction of the family took place, and now we're on the backside trying to show and talk about how it gets pulled back together.
Yes.
And that happens in the family economy. And if we want a true understanding of that, it starts 1 with the family. 2, the second thing that it is what Matthew Henry calls a little church.
A little, bro.
So the house is both a fellowship and a place of meeting. And we read about house churches in the New Testament. We've got the house of Stephanus, 1 Corinthians 1, the house of Philemon and Philemon 2, the house of Cornelius in Acts 11, the house of Lydia in Acts 16, the house of the prison governor at Philippi in Acts 16 again. We could also go to Acts 18, 2 Timothy 1, 2 Timothy 4, I think 2 Timothy 2 and 5, but the house being a little church or the location for a little church is all through the New Testament, okay? In their time, it wasn't just a mother, a father, and children. It was what's called multi-generational. So you might have the mamas and papas. You might have the aunts and uncles, right? You might have cousins. I
estimated that there's 60 lines in this document.
You could have a multitude, a number of family members. You could have 20 or 30 people that lived in a house.
I want to have a clan. I want our clan to be like you and Mom, and then me and Bella, and then all of our children, and then all of our grandchildren, and all the... Yeah. We need to have Mama, Papa... Francis and Papa Fergie.
Okay.
I don't know about Sarah.
Bro.
But we need to have I'm just kidding. She can have everybody lives over here. And then I wish we could have our aunts and uncles here.
Okay,
but that doesn't really work.
Extending the clan down a little too large. It would be forming a compound. I think there's going to be a lot of Kool-Aid involved there.
Kool-Aid?
See also David Koresh.
I do not understand Kool-Aid.
Yeah, no, you don't understand.
I hate jokes that I'm not part of. Tell me now.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Oh.
Okay. So we've got then a little church. So a family being principally a husband, a wife, and the children. But in a larger context, in a larger dynamic, it would include what you're saying. It would include grandparents. It would include aunts, uncles, whatever the case may be. Throughout Appalachia, so Appalachia being from, where does this run? Down in Alabama all the way up to essentially New York. But in that region especially, and then over on the southern East Coast, they have a strong familial bond. A lot of them stick to where they were born and raised. I know that a lot of my family members on my mom's side, they stick to where they were born and raised, and there's something to that. There's something about being close to the family and the people that you've grown up with, and maintaining that dynamic.
They were born and raised on the Alt key. We were born and raised on the H key.
Come on.
What? I'm just saying.
The third thing, so now having seen the family, and we've looked at principally the little church, that means the concept of worship being integral to the home, the worship of God, the worship of God in Christ, to be even more clear. A daily family worship, but not just that, everything that the family does should involve that principle of worship, including Sunday mornings, including celebrating, honestly, Passover, including baptisms, including daily discipleship in the process of apprenticeship too, by the way. The third thing, this is something that I just learned the other day, and it's a little commonwealth. The family, or what I'm working on defining the family economy here, is also or was also historically a little commonwealth. And that comes from, I think his name was William Bradford. And I'm not 100% sure here, but I think he was the first governor of Massachusetts. So what Bradford and other Puritans did is they developed this concept when they came over, and the Puritans and Pilgrims came over and settled this country. They developed this concept of a little commonwealth. And what that was, not really like a little city, but the family was like this little dynamic, this little engine, and multiple commonwealths.
Engine that could.
Yep. Multiple commonwealths in an area, they became like a little tiny microcosm of the state, of the whole. Okay? Which, by the way, if we're going to get back to where we need to be as a country and as a society, we've got to get back to the family as the basic unit. And then a collection of God-fearing families is what then forms the backbone or the undergirding for the area, a community, and then for the state itself. What people are trying to do, what Christian nationalists and others are trying to do, is they're trying to go from a top down. They want a Christian prince at the top to dictate laws and legislation down. It'll never work. It's never worked in the history of the world, but you know what has worked? What always works?
The back of my neck pinching.
The family. The family always works. Finally, this may be of more interest to you.
All right, we're actually almost done. We're over halfway through.
You were done when you talked about the Xbox Game Pass.
That was an hour ago.
I know.
All right, in this intermission, I want to say, can we do a little boat period here? We can talk about my boat.
Yes, when we get down here in just a second, to this fourth point. The family unit or the familial unit is a unit of production. And I define this as being bound by respect, mutual submission, and love. And just a second, when I talk about work, you can say, I've got a great idea for the family economy. It's my 12,000-ton boat.
11. And it's not really for the family economy. I just was reading. I was just reading at shoulder or elbow. Shoulder. I was just reading a book about oil rigs, and I was like, well, looks like today I'm building a survey vessel.
You know what? I can think of no better place than to build a 11,000-ton boat to go out and drill for oil than good old West Virginia. Yep.
Oh, heck no, Papa.
Okay, here's another book I want to recommend. So, C.R. Wiley, there were two books of his that I wanted to recommend. The first one is called Man of the House. Excellent, by the way. The second one is...
He had a guy with a hammer on the front. I don't know if I like that. Just kidding.
What? The second one is The Household and the War for the Cosmos. I didn't... Because I think because this was an audiobook, wasn't tracking as well. I need to have it in print.
Audiobooks are disgusting. They should be wiped from the face of the earth.
Pull yourself together, man.
Why would you ever listen to a work of art? It's like listening to the Mona Lisa.
This is the only reason why I keep you on this show. I would have kicked you off of here a long time ago, but you occasionally drop little nuggets like that.
Chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A. God's chicken.
Okay, so in Wiley's book, The Household and the War for the Cosmos, which again, I probably need to read it, the hard copy, rather than listening to it. I get distracted when I listen. But in the foreword to that was written by Nancy Pearcey, okay? This is pure gold. Her foreword into this book is worth buying the book itself, like no joke. Let me just read. I've got two long extended quotes. Can you hang in with me while I read these two quotes?
No.
Okay, I know you won't. You probably have mentally checked out already.
I have indeed.
Hang in with me. We're almost done, and you can talk more about your book.
Get my headphones in here real quick.
Listen to what she says. Huh?
So I can actually hear.
Those are mine. That actually worked. You're doing technical things now?
Like, this has no difference from this. Because, like, I could hear myself right now from, like, just hearing it from outside the thing. Like, this sounds no different with my headphones on, so I might as well just scrap these. Don't need them.
Okay. Whatever.
It actually sounds better this way.
Okay. Well, let me read these two quotes by Nancy Pearcey. So here's what she says. Before the Industrial Revolution, when economic work was performed within the household, both men and women spent most of their time in the home and its outbuildings. Fathers were able to be far more involved in child rearing than today, and mothers were able to be involved in economically productive work without putting the kids in daycare. Work was not the father's job, it was the family industry. Often the living quarters were in one part of the house, with offices, workshops, or stores in another part of the same house. Husband and wife worked side by side, not necessarily at identical tasks, but sharing in the common economic enterprise. That helps to put a little bit more meat on the bones for what the family economy is. We've gone from family to little church to little Commonwealth, and now we're seeing the family as a productive unit.
Familial unit of production bound by respect, mutual submission, and love. Just like I said, instead of being bound by work, it's bound by love.
Good, yeah. So continuing
shot from the hip.
Continuing with Pearcey's quote, the change started with the Industrial Revolution, which took the work out of the home. The household was no longer the center of the economic activity. Fathers had no choice but to follow their work out of the household and into factories and offices. As a result, they were simply not present at home enough to continue the same level of involvement in teaching and disciplining their children. As for the women, when the household industries were transferred to the new factories, mothers at home were reduced from producers to consumers. Eventually, not only economic production, but also a host of social functions were moved out of the home. Education was removed to schools. Care of the sick and elderly was transferred to institutions. Grandparents and singles moved out into separate homes and apartments. Recreation became something you buy at the movie theater or engage in alone on your private electronics. Even family devotions were given up, and parents came to rely on churches and youth groups.
When was this written?
What remained in the home was little more than housework and early childcare. No wonder feminists sensed that many of the rewarding and interesting activities of life had been transferred to the public realm.
When was that written?
This was written just a few years ago when this book was published. But she's looking...
I was about to say, there's no stinking way that there were personal devices back in 1950 when I assumed it was written.
But she's going back to the Industrial Revolution, and she's explaining how when that happened, the father and the mother and the children were ripped out of the home, just like we've talked about. And now she's moved forward, and she said everything's changed. The house is no longer the center for everything. It's basically a place to come lay down on a cot at night. And maybe the first couple years of a child's life that the parent is home, and then that's it. Quit.
All right, I can talk about my boat now.
There's 4 main aspects under this family economy, using Pearcey as an introduction.
And then when we're done with them, we'll talk about the boat, and then it will be over pretty much. Go ahead.
The first is productive property. Okay, so this is what we've been talking about with the homestead and the farm. You have to have productive property. Okay, I will refer you to Wiley's book on Man of the House here. He has an excellent section on productive property. And you don't necessarily have to have a farm to be productive. You can have anything. It can be your apartment balcony. It can be your apartment. You can have a studio in your apartment. You can grow stuff on your balcony. It can be a home in a subdivision. It can be anything. For us, it happens to be a farm with a little bit of acreage where we can raise chickens, we can raise meat birds, we can raise sheep. There are other economic enterprises that I'd like to get going, but productive property. It's taking, originally, it was life, liberty, and not the pursuit of happiness, but life, liberty, and land or productive property, life, liberty, and property. That's kind of got changed, but we need to get back to this understanding of, no, God created us free, and God created us with a tie or connection to the land. And as a result of that, we've got to make the land work for us. This is how we take dominion. This is how we subdue the earth. Okay, so productive property. Wiley, so I'm referring to that. The next thing under that would be work. So a lot of people might hear what I'm saying and they think of family economy as, well, I've got to have a family business. I've got to have a home business. It's not necessarily a business. It's not necessarily something where you're starting a family-owned business like my father-in-law had at a hardware store that was multi-generational, couple generations long. And it's not actually that. It's not actually starting a small business. It's not a family business, but it's a family enterprise. Anything that the family does, it doesn't necessarily have to bring in money. It's something that the family does together. In fact, one can make the argument, sir, while you're messing with your Beatles-like hair, one can make the argument that a podcast like this, Father and Son, is a part of a family economy. Or the website, familypulpit.com, where everyone can take interest in and write or produce something, can be a family economy as well. Are you tracking on that?
Boat time.
Tell me about your boat. And we got the last 2 things we'll talk about.
My boat, it's low-key boated.
I see what you did there.
That was the corniest pun on the face of the earth. I'm sorry that I had to seduce you to that.
Subject?
Subject.
Thank you. No seductions going on here.
What's is that? Oh!
That's a shot. Go right ahead and tell us about your boat.
So, boat.
You don't have anything to say now, do you?
No, not really.
So your boat concept, let's talk about this. So you got an idea for an 11,000-ton boat, and you basically want it to be a drill rig for oil?
I would say that ton is metaphorical, but it's not.
It's not, no. You want this boat to be a drill rig for oil, right?
Yes.
Tell me how it's going to work. Explain to me how it's going to work.
It's not an oil rig. It's an explorational rig.
Okay.
I actually call it my survey vessel when I say, hey, Mom, can I work on my survey vessel?
Okay, let's hear it. What's it going to do?
Basically, it tows miles and miles of cables. Okay. Like electronic cables called hydrophones.
Okay.
And basically what scientists will do, scientists being me, I'll probably be the only crew member because none of my friends will want to join.
And I'm not being Gilligan, man.
No. And
I've seen you drive a side-by-side. We almost died.
That was your fault. Your foot was on the pedal.
We did almost die. That was not a banner moment. It wasn't a banner moment for us. My foot was accidentally on the gas while I was reaching for the emergency brake, and I don't think that you've driven solo since.
No, I'm not. Scarred.
Yes.
So, basically, there's controlled explosions in the water near the boat, and makes these waves in the water, these like things, and they go down and hit the bottom of the seabed, and then they come back up, and the hydrophones grab them, and they're like, oh wait, there are different types of things, and they're based off of what materials are down there,
right?
And so then the cables bring it back to the ship, and then they kind of like crypt that to figure out like where the oil might be. But you have to be pretty certain to have an oil rig out there, because once you put that oil rig out there, millions of dollars, if you don't get that oil,
that's right,
you're cooked.
Can I share something with you?
What?
So back when I worked on a drill rig before, we would send casing down into the ground. We were wanting to pull out rock and soil.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we would send down some camera-like equipment that would do the same thing that you're talking about. It would send wavelengths on both sides to help you determine if there were fractures in the rock, and if you had fractures or voids that you needed to fill. Okay. When I also was in college, we had a class where we had to determine where oil might be found. So it was like this,
like one of those educational things where you had it like in a
grid.
setting. I love those.
It was like in a grid. And so you had to determine, based on a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, the professor would give us back, hey, you've got back these wavelengths in this type of material. And then we would look at that and we'd go, oh, well, this is where the oil would be. And it was almost like the game Battleship, where you're trying to hit the ship. You're trying to find where that oil reserve might be, that pocket.
I just realized something crazy. I just grabbed this library receipt.
Yep.
9/5/2025. This was my breakthrough.
Physics, the answer book?
The physics book. That was the first science interest
Is that book
I
late?
ever had.
Are we going to have to bring a can of food to get that fine waived?
What? No.
Books from in return.
No,
Okay.
I went it back. I brought it back.
We took a little detour on the ship.
I thought we were
Let's
still
wrap
going
this.
on the boat.
We're still going on a boat?
Yeah,
we got 2 points.
So
We're wrapping this up.
So for my GPS, I have a display. I have multiple antennas.
Excuse me, drinking my water. Go ahead. Tell
And
us
then
about your ship.
I also have like screens and stuff, and I have steering wheel and controls. Okay. And I'm working on like the engines and stuff now.
You're designing this in CAD.
Yes, I designed the whole ship in CAD, and it was actually pretty good. It was actually one of my proudest CAD works of all time.
Okay, so out of everything that you just said, the 16 3,500 horsepower engines, the 11,000 ton machine that's going to be built in West Virginia. Don't ask me how we're getting this to the Gulf. I have no clue. The CAD part was the most important part.
How was it most important?
Learning how to use CAD and teaching yourself how to use CAD has much more potential to be productive down the road than building an 11,000 ton ship in the middle of West Virginia.
But what if I earn millions of dollars from drilling oil? Next is build the actual oil rig. That's going to be even more fun.
The last 2 things that I want to talk about, or 3 things really.
Let's hurry up. I want to go play video games.
You're not going to play video games? I don't know what you're talking about.
I might.
0% chance.
Dang it.
The last 3 things we want to talk about here very briefly. So we looked at productive property. We talked about work. And remember that when we talk about family economy, we're not actually talking about a business. We're talking about doing things together. It can actually be, bub, like me, you, and sis this morning went out to pick blackberries. That in itself is actually a household economy. It's the family working together in the bond of love. And we're producing something. We're gathering berries, right? Like it's providing food for us. Now, granted, it's not like
we're not surviving off of them.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. And you know what? How about the chicken that you had that I just referenced that we actually raised ourselves, processed ourselves, and cooked ourselves, right? So today...
I ripped its guts out.
Okay, thank you for that. Please don't call Child Protective Services. We were under the administration of state... No, I'm just kidding. Let me tell you what I've eaten today. I've had eggs that we raised on the farm. Okay.
I had a water bar that we raised on the farm. We raised it from an egg. It hatched a little Wara baby.
I had chicken that we raised on the farm. And then I had, after my chicken, I had desserts with the blackberries that we picked this morning.
Same. I had a water bar that we grew, a chicken that we grew. You grow chickens, right? You plant the seeds and then they grow.
Right. You're on fire today.
They grow on trees. And then I also got... another water bar that we found on a wild tree, and then we also had blackberries for dessert.
Thank you.
And not to mention that.
By the way, I award you no points.
I was walking out on the way back from blackberries. I didn't show you this, but I saw a glass of water on a tree that had just grown. Like I didn't see it the last week, so I'm pretty sure it grew in that amount of time. And I picked it off and drank the water it had.
through those inane comments that you just outlined for us, if you think about this, the eggs, the chicken, the berries, and even the water, because we have a collection system for that.
The wild water bars as well.
Rein yourself in here, bro. Seriously. Those things that I'm talking about, those are part of a family economy. We did these things together. Okay. It didn't necessarily produce for us income where we're making thousands of dollars, but they were enterprises that we did together. And that's the heart of a family economy. That's what work is. Work can be for self-sufficiency or work can be for profit. You can actually take, like we've done, take some of these extra chickens that we have and we sell them, and it allows us to raise our food, our meat for free. If we scaled up a little bit, we would have more, according to West Virginia state regulations, where we can sell under the banner of our farm and have a little bit of money that we make in profit from this. Okay. The third thing is, and principally, education. Most people start here. When they build a family economy or they start thinking about this, it starts with the children being pulled out of a public school setting or even private school, really, and being homeschooled. Once you go against the establishment and homeschool your kids, all the dominoes start falling after that. You know what? Then it becomes, well, I'm going to have to take a little bit of charge in the food that I have, right? So not only am I not going to rely on anyone to raise my own kids and teach them, I'm going to do that myself, but now I'm not going to rely on people to raise my own food. And the steps just keep falling in place after that until you find yourself smack dab in the middle of really what's called a household economy or family economy. And as we've already talked about, that's been historical. That's been since the beginning of creation. The Greeks recognized it all throughout the centuries. They recognized this up until the Industrial Revolution, and it got robbed from us, and people stopped talking about it. The last thing, maybe most importantly, not secondarily to the home being the family, little church, is an inheritance. You want to be able to set up a family legacy. So in other words, if you're going to do a family economy the right way, it needs to be multi-generational. You have to try to have an emphasis or integration with the generation prior, and you want to set up the generation after for success. You want to create the family economy, which, as we've already gone over, right? What this actually means: the father, the mother, the children, any kind of secondary family members, right? Grandpa, grandma, aunts, uncles, etc. We saw it was the little church. We saw how William Bradford calls this the little Commonwealth, right? And now we're working on that actual economy part here. Each one of these pieces you want to set up in such that it can be a family legacy, so that it can be just simply walked into for the next generation. The people that I see doing this best, other than Rory Groves, are the Salatins, actually. I don't think that they probably have an emphasis on family economy. I don't know if Rory may have it. See, if you had headphones, you could hear that. I can hear you, which means they can hear you. But the Salatins, Joel Salatin, we visited his farm a couple years ago. His son, Daniel, started raising rabbits at a young age, maybe 10, 11, 12, something like that. And now he's been able to walk right into their farm business and take it over, where his dad just travels around the country now, basically doing speaking and teaching. He's able to run the day-to-day operations of the farm because they truly did build a family economy, and he walks right into it. Okay, so that's the legacy that I'm talking about.
But does that sound like, is he just a blue collar?
No, he speaks as well. He's coming to West Virginia in September to the Homesteadingish Conference. They try to teach. Part of the durable trades, one of the durable trades things was teaching. Mm-hmm. So he comes around and he wants to teach people how it is that they can raise chickens or rabbits and how they can do these things to be more self-sustaining. Remember, that's a great point though, as we're talking about a family economy, we don't want to fall into that trap of just blue collar and white collar. We want it to be, what would that be if you combine the two? Light blue? We want to combine them both. We want to combine the physical and the mental. In other words, you want to be able to go out and process chickens for your food, and then you want to be able to sit down and have be able to read a book that you're going to profit from, or be able to write something that someone else is going to profit from.
I can do that.
Right?
I can do that.
So you're having the mental and the physical together.
Yeah, like I went out there and processed chickens, and then I've read Shakespeare.
You're doing a great job reading, by the way. Picking up a lot of things. This is the family economy in a nutshell, okay? I know it wasn't in depth. Like, I guess our podcasts really aren't in depth, but it is a good introduction. It does introduce the terms and the concepts. Some of the things that I pulled together and seen from this, you're not going to go to one singular source and see all of these things that we just discussed here. You kind of have to go to the people who are discussing it and pull the little pieces together into a thread, a common thread and theme, sort of like how we did here today. What else you got? Anything except for that boat or except for Xbox?
Shoot,
anything other? No, you were.
After this, I am gonna work on. I'm trying to get my thing set up though. If I'm not gonna play today.
As far as the family economy goes, do you have any thoughts on that? I know you and I have actually talked about this a bit, and we've talked about it in terms of what can you do here on the farm, like what can you produce, what can you contribute to?
What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
I mean, is there anything that comes to mind that interests you in that? You like the processing chickens. Yeah. You like going down and spending time with the sheep and trying to form a bond with them so that they're not as timid.
It's hard.
You were very good with animals.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? You don't want to think about it? You just want to think about the boat and the games?
No, I'm not sure.
I would think that you're tailor-made for something along the lines of animals, though. I really do.
I want to be a vet, a financial advisor, a self-made engineer, and a business owner.
So for the audience, each of those things that he just mentioned, how I would reframe that is, how can those things not be individual pursuits, but how can they benefit the family? Not just the present generation, but generations to come, so that we get out of this mindset of where a person goes off and does their own thing and they're no longer part of that family unit and they're not thinking downstream of themselves. That's how I would reframe that.
I'm just talking about mom's always like, how are you gonna make money when I'm an adult? And I'm gonna be like,
I'm not even worried about making money.
Hand her the Santa Naughty and Nice List equivalent.
No, we are talking primarily scriptural and philosophical basis, not just, hey, how can you make money? I'm assuming, I'm not going to go under the assumption that the financial system is going to remain the same. So if that's the case, then I need to have skills. You need to have skills.
I have skills.
Right?
I want to learn welding.
Perfect example. When COVID hit and everyone was sent home from their jobs, a lot of people were sitting around at a computer going, man, you know what? If this is it, this is how it goes down right here. I got no marketable skills. I can't go out and do anything else. On
your computer?
Huh?
How could you not do stuff on your computer?
Because we've been so trained to do one specific job, to be specialized.
If I had no access to go outside, I would literally be making billions on my computer.
What?
I would be making billions doing something, designing something, selling my patents or stuff like that.
Okay. Well, more people need to have skills set like that then.
I just don't get it. Like, it's so easy. If I don't know, maybe I should just start sitting down and thinking, how do I make $1 million right there for 5 minutes?
I think this is probably what gets people derailed. It's not about making $1 million. Let me reframe this for you again. One, how can whatever I do be done to the glory of God? Primarily, right? That's the pinnacle. Everything that I do, whether I eat, drink, or make a podcast, needs to be done to the glory of God, right? But two, how can what I do or develop, how can it benefit not just me, but my family? And then my family as a primary base economic unit, how can that help other families? Do you see? Mm-hmm. So this is what drives the guys who invented in history. That was their driver. Not how I can make $1 million. They didn't care about that. Ben Franklin has how many inventions that failed?
Hundreds.
Right? Exactly right. He's not looking and going, well, let me see how I can make $1 million. He's looking to see how can I do this to benefit those around me in my community, and then it extends from there. Okay? Understand? All right. We got anything else for the family economy?
Go play on your Xbox for I cannot.
You don't have an Xbox, so therefore you cannot play on your Xbox.
Actually, I can't, because Microsoft made it so where your computer is the Xbox.
Nice try. It's not going to happen. You want to wrap us up on this episode?
Sure. Wait, should
Be
you
concise.
do it for one time?
Sure. Thanks for listening. I think this was episode 17. Thanks for following us on our rabbit trails. But we wanted to introduce the family economy. So take a listen to some of those introductory episodes that we have. It provides the groundwork and the framing for what we talked about with family economy. Check out our website, familypulpit.com. I've been trying to get some things posted up on there. Keep a listen or an ear out for Notes from the Pulpit, the companion podcast to this one. I've got a few things that I've recorded that I'm trying to put out here over the next few days. And Stadhampton Press, the website has been purchased. I'm having some difficulty setting up the web page, but that will be our publication page.
And
You're banging. You can't hear yourself.
Sorry. Bella Pulpit is going to be making shortly our magazine, our journal, where we post short works of fiction and essays.
Okay.
So the last thing that I want to say in the podcast, hold it on the stop button. I'm just going to say this.
We'll catch you on the next one.